Hey, how's it going? We're still here at New World Comic-Con. All day. All day. Still not chained to this chair. I promise I can get up and leave anytime I want. I'm not being held hostage here. I don't know why that rumor keeps getting spread around. Duct tape doesn't hurt. It's just, you know. Okay, anyways. So I'm here we're still here at the Comic-Con, the New World Comic-Con. And I'm actually here with Jake with Platypus Dad Productions. You're also Cobra Commander?
Yes.
Extraordinaire?
I'm not extraordinaire.
Oh, okay.
But I try my best.
The one, the only, dominating force trying to take over the entire world, foiled by G.I. Joes. So how long have you been doing this as cosplay, by the way?
I've been doing cosplay since 2016.
Okay.
Awesome. And
Awesome.
wasn't Cobra Commander at first. My first character was Deathstroke.
Okay, very
So
cool.
that's actually on one of my masks that I 3D printed show is Deathstroke that I did his full armor, did everything, and then from there just kind of grew into other characters.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, very cool. That's awesome. So, and then you do builds.
Yes.
Full-blown builds.
Yes.
So tell us about all the things you're doing with this, because, I mean, we were talking earlier, and it seems like a really cool thing. It's got a lot of cool stories going along with it. So talk about, so your 3D printing builds, or how much of your costume right here is a build that you
Okay, in this one, not a lot of it is.
Okay.
I 3D printed the lapel pins, as far as this here too, and any other additions that I have.
Yeah.
Because this Cobra Commander isn't a big 3D printed command.
It's mostly suit.
Now, you can 3D print the helmet if you want, but thanks to GameStop, they gave out what the legends. So, and it's a good buy, good build. But what I do is for those kind of outfits, is like you saw here in my voice box. Can you see it? I can bring it in, bring it over. That's fine. It's okay.
He's got it.
Oh, he's got it? Okay.
Yeah.
So what I have here is called the PDVB.
PDVD.
Yeah, VB.
VB.
Platypus Dad Voice Box.
Ah!
So it's a lot easier to say.
My name is
Okay.
I didn't intentionally go into that voice, but as soon as I made that, I was like, I
gotta do it. Hear it all the time.
Platypus Dad voice box. All right.
Okay, so
Wait, is it the voice box in Nader?
it could be. Watch out the tri-state area.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. So you've seen videos of the Disney actors walking around, and you see them doing little motions as their character's voice is coming out.
Yes.
So that is what we call a replay, a voice replay system. That is Disney likes that. They're very proud of it, and they like to hold on to it, which they can. But that leaves people like me who say, hey, I want that, but I don't want to pay the Disney price.
Yeah.
So I found a way, not by Disney. Watch out for lawyers. So with this device, it acts like a USB drive.
Okay.
So you can use it in anything from a prop to a costume, where you can load a sound, load a voice file, you can pull it off an anime, whatever.
Yeah.
Then load it in here, and through different sensors, you would be able to key the effect.
Okay.
So that's the story I told you a few years back. I was at a con.
Yeah, tell this whole story.
So,
this is really cool.
I was at a con dressed as Cobra Commander. Now this was a Tokyo, they called it Tokyo in Tulsa.
Okay.
So a lot of Japanese. So I'm in Cobra Commander. Not a lot of G.I. Joe characters. Okay. All right. So I'm standing out like a sore thumb. And all of a sudden I hear, Cobra Commander, Cobra Commander. I'm like, okay. I'm heads above all the other people in there. So I look over, and there's a guy with an entourage just crawling over people heading toward me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, this is either going to be good or bad, depending on his...
You ruined my childhood! He starts you up. Yeah.
That was a fear. I have seen that before. So he came up to me, and he's like, hey, thanks to you, I mean, your character, I got in this business.
Oh, wow.
And then they whisked him off. So at that point, curiosity got to me. I went over to his table.
Yeah.
I found out he was one of the voice actors for Cobra Commander in the late 2000s.
Okay.
So now he's done a very good job. It's kind of a fun story to figure out how he got into it.
Yeah, tell that story. It's really cool.
His name is Jim Ferranda. I'm going to give him his plug.
Jim.
So he has done also voices in My Hero Academia, and he actually is the voice of Claptrap in Borderlands, yes. So 2, 3, and 4. He's Claptrap.
Okay, wow.
So So he's done a lot of work.
Yeah.
But this was his first official one.
Nice.
So he worked at an advertising agency, thought they had a huge Hasbro commercial deal. They were getting high profile voice actors like Mark Hamill and other things to do the voices.
Nice, yeah.
But then they found out the budgeting department messed up on the numbers.
Yeah.
So they handed the lines out. This is like a week or two before the due date.
Yeah.
Everybody did the lines, and they let Hasbro pick. They picked him for, I think, 6 of the 8 or 9 characters.
Wow, yeah.
So since then, he's done a lot of the commercials, and he's done a few of the episodes and a few of the games as Cobra Commander.
That's so cool.
And so in getting to know him and work with him, he has given me, for my costume, actual lines for the PDV to play. So I'm going to play one. Did you get that?
I put it right underneath right there.
Underneath? I'll do it again. Okay.
Ah, that's so dope.
So,
let me see the gun too while you do that. That's so cool. Okay, keep going.
and so with the PDVB, and I'm working with other voice actors, I've gotten in contact with John Bailey and a few others to do some lines.
Hey Jeff, do you know who John Bailey is?
I sadly do not know who John Bailey is, but I got the game that Claptrap was in.
Yeah, you didn't get that one.
So John Bailey is the epic voice guy. He's done tons of movie premieres. He's the voice in a world, he does that. But he also was the voice of Optimus Prime in a lot of the newer anime stuff, and he's done other voice work. He's
legit.
an excellent guy. So
That's awesome.
I've been in contact with him to set up something to work, because he does other voices just than Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
To work out a way, because he does Fiverr. So if you want to do a voiceover by him, you can contact him on Fiverr, and he can do you a voice.
That's cool.
That's another way we got contact.
Okay, I want that contact, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
John Bailey, Fiverr.
I love it.
John Bailey.
Epic voice guy on Fiverr.
I love it, yeah. In a world. Not dirty enough.
Exactly.
That's a podcast. All right, I like this. All right. Keep going, sorry. Yeah.
So in that's one of the things I build and produce for cosplay. I am in a group in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area where we do cosplay education and cosplay promotion.
Right.
So like if somebody wants to get into cosplay, I'll help them build props. We have another group, they help do sewing. Makeup, things like that. So we kid off each other. But
I didn't realize what a tight-knit community this was, like the cosplay community.
it's very, very tight-knit, it's very close, and it's very protective.
Okay.
So because there's a lot of, as much as cosplay is growing, there's still a lot of misconceptions out there. I just, at Tokyo, the last Tokyo in Tulsa 2 weeks ago, I actually had to be a dad on the bus when people are getting on, and I'm telling boys, don't do that.
The
Respect.
Sign, sign when you come
Thank
in says
you.
cosplay is not considered.
It is not.
And I think people, it's crazy because it's not just with the girl costumes. Sometimes it's just they're big, imposing costumes, and it's like people want to, for whatever reason, attack them or touch them, or it's like you don't know how much money's gotten into a lot of cosplay.
Right.
The more I meet people who are doing cosplay, y'all put a ton of money into what you do. It's not a cheap hobby.
No, it's not. And you saw some of my Gundam helmets and everything. So they range from low price to the full up, customized ones. They'll run $1,000.
Wow.
With light, sound, electronics from the anime, just because of what's put into it. And so yes, somebody just running up, they don't realize that's breakable.
Come on.
Right.
And it's also not respectable. I mean, I've had it happen to me. I mean, even as Cobra Commanders, people come up, all things, they just start throwing their arms around you, and I'm like, I don't know you. Go away.
This is assault.
Stranger danger.
Don't make me tase you, bro. Yeah, that's so great. Well, let me ask you this: what's the difference between? Okay, so I did an interview a couple months ago in Nebraska with a guy who was wearing the original 1989 Batman cowl.
Okay.
Wow.
It was an old cowl.
Wow.
And I was like, bro, that's an antique.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
First of all, okay, that's scary you're doing that. But then I asked him, I said, how long have you been in cosplay? He goes, this is a cosplay, this is dressing up. So I'm like, what is the difference then between being a person in a costume and a person doing cosplay? A comic book or a pop culture convention. Give me the technical details so we know the.
I will say technically, if you show up here with that cowl on, you're going to be considered you're in cosplay.
That's what
now, you also have to remember it is an attitude. So if they just want to do it and they're doing it fun and they just wore it, that's all they have.
This
we
dude
understand.
is straight on Batman.
Okay.
This is such a great. So he sits down with me and like I said, I just tell people real quick when I look at you. I said, "You want to do this Batman stuff?" Because he was wrong to do that. Yeah, I'll do Batman stuff. So he's there, being real serious. We do the Batman order. So I'm like, "Hey Batman, how's the con going?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's going good." I'm like, "You're doing all right." And then I'm like, "Awesome, man. So I'm glad you're here. And hey, how are the parents?" And he's just like, it was so great.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you feel about the fact that there's all these kids running around dressed as Joker right now? When you fought the urge to, I don't know, melee a kid for no reason. Batman can tell who the bad guys are.
Yes.
It was really funny because we did this whole thing and we're done. And after he's like, so he's introduced himself. So I did a cosplay. I just dressed up.
Well, one thing you have to remember is there is still a stigma for cosplay.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So, for example, so I go to a very popular church around here in Oklahoma City. I actually started here, Whole Life Church.
Okay.
And at my one in Tulsa, we actually are starting a cosplay believers kind of group.
Wow.
So, but you still have a lot of stigma against because there are all sorts. It's from Satan, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, if you dressed as Satan, so some of it isn't quite.
Yeah, exactly.
The little dude just.
And he doesn't. He's good. He's good.
Just saying, like, I mean.
But some people, especially in the Midwest,
Okay.
I grew up in the Midwest too as well, North Central Kansas.
Yeah.
For the longest time, you can dress as a Halloween outfit, but don't call it this.
Well, I grew up in church getting dressed as Halloween.
So,
yeah. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So you're saying the stigma is what some people would identify with.
Exactly.
Like, I do cosplay.
And it might be just a snap.
And it seems like there's levels of cosplay.
Yeah, there is.
Right? And so there's the level where this is my hobby.
Yeah.
And I take it seriously. And I'm invested in this. And it seems like that level, they're not even sure we're making money back.
Yeah.
And there now seems to be an industry of cosplay for pay.
There is, yes.
So, and that gets a bunch of extremes when you look at the cases of work. And then it's the other ones, it's like they're new, they're just trying this out, they're throwing on their first costume, or maybe they've done it several years, they've not invested tons of money into it. Is that a fair analysis on this?
That's a pretty good analysis, I think. So.
And I don't have any beef with it, I think it's all great where you're at, and so the one rule I have with this interview stuff is I will never interview someone dressed as a Joker.
Okay.
I'm just telling you right now. Because every time you put that makeup on, you just become an insane person for no reason. I've had the weirdest, hardest interaction with you. I really like, yo, my guy, like, stop.
Let's reel it back.
Yeah, like, stop. And you're not going to murder anyone. You're acting murderous right now, and I've asked you stuff. You know what I mean? Like, trying to respect you. Come on, crazy man. I get what you're doing. But yeah, so we got this new role. It's like, if you sold out to the Joker role, I'm not good. Like, if you can't get there, like, if you're going full, Heath Ledger, I'm
right.
like, I can't do it. I can't. So other than that, I'm pretty open to the cosplay. So it seems like a lot of younger people get into it, and all ages. Everyone's in it. There's not and it's like, it's very diverse. Like if you have fandom.
Well, there's another interesting story.
Okay.
So 2 Tokyo and Tulsas ago, I met.
By the way, I need to get the podcast set up at this Tokyo and
Tulsa. Yep.
When's the next one happen?
Next year.
Okay.
But it'll be end of June is usually when they have it.
I'm gonna put it on the calendar.
Okay.
So go ahead.
But last time I was there, we had coming out of COVID, things like that, not a big attendance, but there was a costume contest, and I met one of the elderest cosplayer that I've ever seen.
Okay.
She was 64.
All right.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And she had been cosplaying when it first came on the scene back in the early 70s.
Okay.
You know, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah,
and, you know, we all know cosplay comes from costume play acting.
Yeah.
So they just put it together.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
it
of
was.
course we knew that.
Of course.
I did.
Not noobs.
It's Borderlands. Work with me here.
So, but it was really interesting to hear how she grew up. You know, I talk about the stigma, and you know, we're used to it. We see it on TV, everything else. Even up until the late 90s and the early 2000s, it was very, you know, she said it was very hard. Even as an adult, a grown adult, and she would just, you do what?
That's so funny. Yeah. That makes sense. The one thing I talk about is all of the pop culture conventions that go on. I tell a lot of people that hang out with us, I'm like, listen, people here they don't feel suppressed, so they're going to express themselves openly without any shame. So if you feel awkward, it's not because they're being awkward, it's because you're not used to being in this environment.
So true.
So before you do something that'll be rude because you feel awkward, you just need to check it. Like, these people this is a community that loves people for what they love.
Exactly.
So it's like, you love this thing, and I like you because you love this thing. Like, we can be friends, even though we don't like the same things, but because we're all fans, we can be friends, right? Have you seen that with this community?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what's kind of cool, because it really does, like, growing up, I'd go to comic conventions, and it was mostly comic books.
Yeah.
There'd be some crafts, there wasn't cosplay. Or if there was, it wasn't big.
Exactly.
Right? And now it's like, there's only, this has the most comics I've seen.
Yeah.
Booths out of a comic convention in a while. Most times like 5 or 6 booths is a bunch of a lot of books. But it's crafts, it's collectibles, it's toys, it's it's all kinds of stuff. And so, man, it's awesome. It's really cool. So I like that a lot. So all right. Well,
I think it's really good that every single person in this world needs to have kind of like a sanctuary. A safe place to be themselves. And that's one of the reasons why I absolutely adore Comic-Cons, is because people can come here, be themselves, and they're not getting judged or lambasted or beaten over the head with it. It's one of the reasons why I teach what I teach.
A very few people.
Right.
And then those people feel awkward for acting that way.
Right.
They're now in a minority.
It is as if we are reversing the social norms. The popular people don't come here, so all the fun, all the nerds and all the people that are super passionate about really cool things come here, and they're allowed to just kind of express themselves.
Exactly.
Well, do me a favor. Tell people how they can get a hold of you if they're wanting to start, maybe get a build, or maybe buy, because you don't just do builds. You've got a lot of 3D printed stuff.
Yeah.
And collector stuff. So do you have a shop online, or where can you get a hold of you?
Yes.
What's your
So platypusdadproductions.com.
Platypusdadproductions.com. Okay.
Yes. So on there are everything from, I have a storefront, I have a contact, and it goes through everything from, if you want a custom build and I don't have it on the store, that's fine. It also has a part of a nonprofit I'm part of that we 3D print. We can't call them prosthetics, but they are limbs for children or teenagers who have lost fingers or hands or whatever
cool.
part. So we
That's
actually,
really cool.
it is a functional body part.
Sure, right.
But we do that because insurance is so expensive. They only allowed so many. So this is a stopgap between that. And we do a lot for international as well. So there's a link for there if if you are interested in getting a hand, that goes to the organization, as well as any of the other products I have, or just have questions about 3D printing or laser etching.
Yeah.
How did you do, if you're having issues, I'm part of a community, we help get people going.
So cool. All right. So it's Jake with Platypus Dad Productions at platypusdadproductions.com. So check him out. Lots of cool projects. I really like this voice project, this voice boxinator.
The voice box was amazing.
Voice boxinator. It's the first one haunted all of the Tri-City area, and but that's really cool. And I love this project, man. Is it inside to ask what operating system you're using? Are you using
This operating system is actually built onto the chip.
Okay.
And so that's why it acts like a USB
like a
drive.
Raspberry Pi or something? Or
Nope.
something?
I do have Raspberry Pi devices, but I wanted something actually simpler.
Yeah.
So if if you order this and you don't order any
So this
lines,
is really his technology alone.
so if you order this and don't want any lines, then I'll have instructions of how you take your file, you rename it to how you want it per the input.
Yeah.
There are 8 inputs, and each input can have up to 10 lines that you cycle through. So there's 80 different sounds, voices.
That's crazy, bro.
That's
And
amazing.
so, yeah, so instead of, thousands of dollars that Disney wants, I
Yeah.
sell these on my shop for the base kit, $75.
Wow.
That's a deal. All right, so y'all heard it here. If you're a cosplay person, especially one that wears masks already.
Exactly.
I mean, this will set you up for the
And
game.
so this is actually a lot of people buy the mics and they'll have this on there, so they'll have a mic that they can talk, but if they want to do a recorded or another voice, and they just hit an input and it plays.
Okay, so question for you. Can you then control going from one sound to another sound and play the specific one that you're interested in, or does it populate the sound randomly? Yeah.
So the way yes and no.
Okay.
So it's all how you name the file.
Right.
So you can, like I have this one basic setup that each input only has one file.
Cool.
But if you name it a certain way, then if I hit this twice, it'll go to the second sound on that file. Hit it 3 times, go to the third sound on that file.
Right.
That's why you see like Kylo Ren on those at the Star Wars thing. He's got his head up and he's gone.
Right.
Exactly. And so it's similar technology, not technology, it's similar function.
Okay.
So
Sure,
if you've seen that,
Don't
then
sue
you can do that.
Disney.
Exactly.
I know, right?
So that's how it works.
Okay.
But you can also set it up for random. So if you are making a Halloween prop and you want to have this to where when kids come and they want to hit a button, all you need is this and an amplified set of speakers and whatever input you have. I've used this for a Lightning McQueen demo that my church had for at the movies, where kids can hit a button and they hear engine rev. Another button, they hear ka-ching, they hear this, so it's actually taken down from the movies and other things. So.
Did you have one box and multiple interfaces into that box,
Yes.
or multiple boxes?
Yeah.
And
One box can take up to 8 different inputs.
see, that's my next question.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then you can have that for one set of sounds, and then you get another box for another set of sounds if you're doing other stuff.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, very
That's
cool.
really cool.
That's so fun. Well, if you guys want to see more about this, follow Jake at platypusdadproductions.com. And I'm sure all your socials, plus this amazing organization you're working with.
Yep.
You check all this out, guys. So check them out. I'll also put it in the description below. I'll re-update the description after the live goes off. So we're still here at New World Comic Convention, and it's now 6 o'clock. It's 1 hour. So if you're
1 hour.
you better run, jog the aisles, get all this done.
Right.
So as we're going to shut down. So thanks for your time, Jake.
thank
It's
you.
amazing. So have a great night.
All right, you
Thanks,
too.
guys.